Val. Before going to my brief closing remarks, I want to reflect a bit on the question with respect to the costs of the quarantine. In relation to anyone who will need a payment plan, we certainly will be accommodating to that request. I should make the further point in relation to the cost of quarantine at government prescribed facilities, in St. Kitts, the OTI facility in particular, that there is no profit made by the government from the payment of fees, quarantine fees. In fact, the government subsidizes the cost of everyone who is quarantined at OTI. Beyond the costs which persons pay, the government pays the full cost, running into thousands of dollars for electricity and water being provided at OTI. The OTI hotel had discontinued its operation as a hotel facility, and so when we took over, or rather, when we rented the facility, that was one of the obligations that the government assumed. Additionally, the cost of security being provided at OTI, again, is for the government account. So everyone who stays at OTI receives a subsidized service there. Additionally, the $500, to be exact, is not monies which the government makes any profit on. It is the cost charged by TDC. The TDC group of companies is the owner of the OTI facility, and they charge $500 US. That amount translates or equates to about $35.60 per day for stay at OTI. I'm advised elsewhere in the region, persons pay between $100 and $150 US to stay in hotel facilities as quarantine. So we are not doing badly. And even at that level of concession, we are still prepared where we can to be of assistance. I shall remind persons that those who have gone abroad or are returning from abroad and had left St. Kitts and Nevis for the purposes of medical treatment, for example, on their return, we are prepared to waive the payment of the quarantine fees and requests. For the students who are returning, we also, on application, will consider waiving the fees. The government certainly cannot be expected, though, to pay quarantine fees for persons who of their own volition left the Federation and are returning. But we do welcome you back. We want you to settle in nicely, but we also want to keep our citizens and residents here safe. And that is why there's the insistence on the quarantine. I think that matter, we need to be advised that the fundamental challenge the government has is how do we keep people safe, how do we contain the virus, how do we prevent the overwhelming of our health facilities, how do we prevent people from dying. And one of the callers drew reference to that. Aren't our people looking at their television set, seeing what is happening in the United States? The most powerful country on earth is having a terrible time managing the pandemic. Just a few days ago, Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the United Kingdom locked down an entire country for a month, from November, I think it is the 5th, onwards into the first week of December. Why was he doing this? Because persons, according to his own national address, had become complacent. They forgot to wear the mask. or they were no longer interested in wearing the mask because they assumed with the diminution in the cases that it was no longer a problem. The truth is, the virus is very aggressive, and we are always on the back foot, responding to it rather than being ahead of it. And perhaps we will not get ahead of it until we get a safe and reliable vaccine to protect ourselves. In the meantime, we are left with certain common sense things to do, and we heard our medical experts speak to them. Avoid large crowds. And any of you who have a relative or friend coming in, you should encourage them to undertake the quarantine and to treat it as a serious part of protecting themselves and protecting you from them. It is in our interest that all of us adhere to the requirements. I want, in closing then, to thank all who have called in, the thousands who listen every week to this program across several media platforms. I say thank you, and especially at a very important night in the life of the most powerful country, the United States of America. You have taken the opportunity to participate, and we welcome your participation. St. Kitts and Nevis so far is the model of a best managed small island state. Indeed, our performance in the management of COVID has drawn international attention to the existence of the smallest sovereign country in the Western Hemisphere. We have had international attention because persons marvel, how can we, the smallest of the lot, be doing the best job in the management of a global pandemic? We can continue to lead the world in our careful approach, our stepwise approach to the opening up of our country, taking quick and decisive action when the moment requires it. That is what we have been doing, and that is what we are committed to do. I said to my fellow citizens and residents, we can't go back now. We can't go back to the lockdowns, and we can't go back to the curfews. We can't go back to the queuing up to get into the supermarkets and the alternating of days when we can go into Bastille and visit certain places. We should not want to get back there, and so we must not transfer it. Because if perchance the reckless action of anyone or any group were to lead to a spread of the virus again, we will have to go back from whence we came, and that will be a significant collective failure for our country as a whole. So let us keep safe, let us take the advice given by the health experts in a serious way and do what we must do to protect ourselves, protect our families, protect our communities, and to keep this beautiful Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis a lowest destination, the paradise to which others will come to relax and to enjoy not just the charm and beauty of our country, but also to enjoy a refreshing sense of safety and tranquility in our beautiful islands. So may God bless us, and may He continue to keep all of us safe. I thank you.